Hey guys, my name is Taylor and tomorrow I will be 27 weeks pregnant. Yay! I'm almost in the third trimester. I'm so excited. I feel like it has taken so long to get here. I basically found out that I was pregnant seriously like the day after I conceived. So it feels like I have been pregnant for a year already. So I'm really happy about making it to the 27th week mark, and then next week is my big glucose test, and then I feel like things will start really wrapping up. I'm starting a little late in the game. I don't know why I didn't start making videos in the beginning, but I just didn't. I guess I'm just lazy, and I kind of just didn't know if this was a journey I really wanted to go on. And now I think that I do kind of want to document everything. So I have a lot of catching up to do, but I wanted to start this video off by kind of talking about how I conceived. I know for a lot of people, trying to conceive can be a really long, hard journey. And I know that when I was trying to conceive, I was constantly on YouTube. I was constantly looking at videos, trying to look at all the different ways that other people had conceived and what had worked for them. And before I said, I'm sorry, I can like feel myself getting out of breath. But anyways, so I'm sorry about that. But before I tell you what works for me, I just want you to know that, you know, what works for me won't necessarily work for you. Everybody's different, but this was something that worked for me that nobody really talked about as much. Okay, so I'll just get right into it. I found out I was pregnant the day before Thanksgiving. So if you are, well, I know for most of you who have been trying to conceive, I had like a million pregnancy tests laying around. Obviously, there's no point in taking more than one a day, but I bought a lot from the Dollar Tree, and I remember I made my husband go with me, and he was just like, "You're crazy." But I was like, "I don't care. Like, I need them." He's like, "You're not pregnant. Like, it's way too early to take a test." So we're sitting there on the couch. I don't know what we were doing, but we had just gotten like a little argument. It was nothing big, but I think it was like over something we were watching on TV. I don't know. And I was like, whatever, I'm leaving. Not leaving, but I just wanted to walk away from the living room. And then I saw the bag, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go ahead and take a test, like whatever. No, I'm not pregnant, but let me just take one. Well, I took a test, and it was like you know when you get your hopes up and you're like waiting for the test and you're like so nervous that you don't even want to look at it. Well, this wasn't even like one of those times. I knew. I was like, I've like just ovulated. There's no way I could be pregnant. So I wasn't even really paying attention. So I kind of just left the test there, got up, washed my hands, and went in the kitchen. And then I was like, oh shit, I forgot about, excuse my language. I forgot about the test. Let me go grab it. So I went to get the test, and there was the tiniest line. I mean, it was so faint. And I had to do a double take. I was like, wait, am I seeing things? Like, what? And I was like, Tyler, get in here, look at this. And he was like, oh my gosh, you're not pregnant. Like, stop. You're just being dramatic. And I'm like, no, look at this and tell me, like, do you see a line? And of course, he didn't really know. He was just like, I could kind of see one. So immediately, like, you know, they say you want to wait to tell family and friends that you're pregnant after you've had the first doctor's appointment or after 12 weeks. Well, that pretty much went down the drain with me because I was so frantic for opinions on if this test was real or not. So as I'm sitting there, I'm texting my hairstylist, my sister, every friend I have, and I'm like, look at this, what do you see? Text me right now, tell me what you see. Is there a line or am I just crazy? And every one of them who was a mom was like, yep, you're pregnant, congratulations. And I'm like, wait, what? I just could not believe it. I could not believe it. And the reason why is, well, number one, the line was super faint. So of course I took like 3 more tests. And then my husband, he was like, I don't know, I want to go get the digital test. I need to know for sure, like, it needs to say pregnant. And I was like, well, even if I am, I can't be that far along. There's no way one of those tests will be able to tell. So he drove up the street, got one, and sure enough, it said I was pregnant. It still blows my mind. But anyway, sorry, that's the backstory of how I found out. So, trying to conceive. Now, I had the Paragard IUD, and I had it in for about a year. And on August, I think it was August 28th, I went to the doctor and I got it removed. I had not been tracking my cycles on an app or anything like that for the past year because I wasn't trying to get pregnant. I just wasn't worried about it. And my husband was, he wasn't living with me at the time. He was in Virginia. So I didn't really need to monitor that. I wasn't sexually active at the time. I didn't care. So anyways, from August to November, I decided to start tracking my cycles. And I don't know if it was because I had just gotten off the birth control or maybe that's just me, but my cycles were very irregular. The first month, I think I had 28 days. The next month, it was like 34. The next month, it was like 32. It was all over the place. So I tried to use those, I think it was Ovia, my period tracker, the one with the little flower. I used all of those, and every month it was just wrong. Because it was still trying, those apps they're using data of previously recorded cycles, and then they're using that to give you the best guess that they can. So they're not, 100% correct. The only time I think that those apps can really, really, really work for you is if you have been tracking your cycles for, I would say, at least 6 months. Now, if you're trying to conceive and you've been off birth control for a while and tracking your cycles for a while, then I think that you could pretty much rely on those apps. Say if you weren't on birth control but you weren't trying, but you were just tracking your cycles for 6, 7 months, and then you start trying, I really do believe that you could get pregnant in 1 month because I think that it would be correct on when you're ovulating, So anyways, I was still, new to this, and I was under the assumption that I ovulated every 14 days or so, right smack dab in the middle of my cycle, just like it said, and it would give you, it gives you the little window of like, this is when you're most fertile. So, based on that, well, I obviously wasn't getting pregnant, and my ovulation days, it was telling me that I was ovulating basically when I wasn't. And I know that my biggest tip for you is start tracking your cycles. Give yourself time. Don't freak out if you're not pregnant in 2, 3, 4, 5 months, because as long as you're tracking your cycles, each month it's getting more and more and more accurate. And each month, if you take down little notes about your body and yourself, and when you think you're ovulating, you're just getting one step closer. You really are. So I would start, I was obsessed. I was obsessed. So I would kind of like almost every day write little notes in my app about how I felt. Was I cramping? Did I have any spotting? Was I moodier? Just everything. And what I noticed is like 6 or 7 days after I was supposed to be ovulating, I was feeling what were ovulation cramps. And I had never noticed that I even got these before, but because I was trying to conceive, I was a lot more observant and aware of everything going on in my body. And I noticed that on just one side of my, stomach, I would get really bad cramps. And I would think to myself, well, these feel like ovulation cramps, and this is what I read about, but my app says that I ovulated last week, so this can't be right. And when I say like it was far in my cycle, like this would be like cycle day 19 that I was feeling this way, okay? And my cycles were supposed to be 29 days. So I was like, there's no way I'm ovulating this late. There's no way. Turns out I was. And so then I was like, you know what? I think maybe I ovulate a lot later. But then I did a lot of research and I heard, well, if you ovulate a lot later in your cycle, then I could be wrong, I think it's called luteal phase. Then your luteal phase is not long enough for the baby to carry. because you need that time between your ovulation and when your period would start for the baby to stick, you know, as they say. So I was like, crap, like, if this is true, then I need to start taking Vitex. I need to get on, start using essential oils. I need to do everything I can to move my ovulation date back. But I was like, okay, well, so I got on Vitex. And I can't say Vitex is how I conceived because honestly, I was taking it irregularly for maybe like 3 weeks. So I don't think that that's the reason. But I'm sure that it works for some people. So I started buying ovulation predictor kits. Is that what they're called? Yes. At first I used like the generic ones, but then they were so confusing and trying to like read the lines. I was like, I can't deal with this. I'm just gonna go ahead and spend the money. So I think it was Clear Blue Digital. They had some ovulation tests, and I think they might come with like 10 or something. So when I was doing that, I was testing the strips way sooner in my cycle than I should have. So then I would run out and I still hadn't even ovulated yet, you know? So finally I was like, oh, I'm buying like 3 boxes. I'm literally testing myself every single day. I don't care. And every single day it was like, no. So I was just convinced like these things don't work. Or maybe I don't ovulate. Well, it was November, and I really, really recommend, if you do have an app that you're using, make sure that on the display, because I think that this is like one of the settings you can change, make sure on the display that you have it set to where each day of the week and the month, it's also showing you your cycle day. So it was cycle day 23, and I also wrote down every time I had sex. So it was cycle day 23, I kid you not, in what was supposed to be the 28 to 32 day cycle. You know, it is what it had predicted for me. It predicted that I was supposed to start my menstrual cycle on like cycle day 30, I think. And it's cycle day 23, and I took the test just because I wanted to, but I knew that like there was no way I could be ovulating, you know? So I took it, and now I think it's for the Clear Blue Digital, it has like smileys, and one of them is like, not peak time at all. One of them is like, this is a pretty good time. And then the other one's like, it's like a crazy smiley. It's like, you must do it now. Basically, it's like what it's saying. Like, this is the best time. You will get pregnant. So I took it, and it was the big smiley that was like, do it now. And I was like, what? Like, no way. I've been using these for months and I've never got a positive OPK. But it was cycle day 23. And so I was like, oh, there's just no way that I'm ovulating. And then I look at my calendar, and like a few days before, I had the ovulation cramps. So I was like, well, maybe I am. So my husband came home and we had sex. And I just remember thinking, like, the other signs that say when you're ovulating, like, you have more, like, discharge, or you get a little bit more wet, or your cervix feels softer, all that stuff, I didn't have any of those symptoms. So I was just like, no, like, there's no way, but let me try anyways, you know, it's not gonna hurt anything to try. So I did, and the crazy thing that still blows my mind, so that was cycle day 23. I'm using my phone to record, or else I would look, because I still have like the calendar. I found out on, when was Thanksgiving, like the 25th or the 24th? It had been no more than like 6 days after I had conceived that I got a positive pregnancy test. And I don't know how that's possible. They say like the earliest first response test is like 6 days before your missed period or something like that. But I was like, what? Like, we just had sex like a few days ago. How could it be positive already? And it turns out I just had a really high hormone level. The hormone that's detected, that the pregnancy tests detect, mine was really high. And when I looked that up online, the top result was that you're having twins. So I was like, oh Lord help us. Like, I wanted to get pregnant. I did not say I was ready for twins. Obviously, like, that would have been a blessing. Now I'm like, oh, I think I would have liked that. But it wasn't twins. There's only one baby. But so I know that for everybody, you might not, your test might not show that early. But anyways, so the point of this all, I think if you take away anything from this, it's that don't go based off of what these apps tell you unless you have been on point with tracking on your app without being on birth control for at least 6 months. If you've only been doing it a couple months, these apps they only have like 2 months worth of data to use and try to calculate their results with on when they think you're going to start or when you're ovulating. If there's a pattern over 6 months, I'd say, yeah, your app's probably right, you know. But so don't rely just on that. If your app says you're ovulating today, and you're in your window 2 days before today and 2 days after today, don't take that as 100% correct. Don't only have sex on those days, because if you're like me, I was ovulating like over a week after that. So I was having tons of sex during my fertile window, and then I'd be like, okay, we're good for like a few weeks. Like, I don't even care anymore. Let's wait till next month. It's over. It's not gonna work. And I was missing out on those days I was actually ovulating. So, and listen to your body when it comes to ovulation cramps. If you feel like just one-sided period pain, but not a few days before your period, like mid-cycle pains, listen to your body. And I would say, you know, that day and maybe the next day after, during that time frame, try to have sex and see if, you know, that might work for you, because I had the ovulation cramps during times when I was supposed to be the least fertile, and turns out that was when I was ovulating. And I know that was when I got pregnant, because we had not had sex for like a week before that, I think, or I don't know if it's a whole week, but I know it was that day. I know it, and it still just like blows my mind, because I just was not expecting it. And I know some people have to wait a lot longer than 3 months to conceive, but when you're trying to conceive, every month, every cycle is like, oh, wait another month. Here we are again. What did I do wrong? Especially when you're trying so hard. You know, you can't help but wonder, like, is something wrong with me? Is something wrong with him? What am I not doing right? And you get nervous. And I know that I was ready to have a child, and he was too, but in my head I was like, well, I'd really be really ready for a child like next spring, but what if I can't get pregnant? So we should try now. Well, it turns out it only took 3 months. And it's a blessing, and I'm so happy that I am pregnant now, but don't just assume that you're not fertile. Yeah, so that's my story. That's how I conceived. It's still crazy to me, because all the times that I thought it was going to work and then I got pregnant, turns out like everything that I thought I knew was just wrong. So just throw everything out the window about when you're supposed to ovulate, because I'm telling you, I ovulated on cycle day 23 and I still got pregnant, and there was still, I guess, enough time in my little face for the pregnancy to carry. And so far I've had a really happy, healthy pregnancy. I mean, it's my first pregnancy, so I don't have much to compare it to. But other than this acid reflux, oh my gosh, it is so bad. Other than that, I think everything's been really great. So like I said, in 27 weeks, I have a lot of catching up to do, but I'm going to be making some more videos. So if you like this video, and if you'd like more information on my journey and through my pregnancy so far, and products I've liked, products that have worked with me, vitamins, anything like that, really just comment and let me know, because this is really exciting for me, and I'm hoping to kind of turn this into a entering motherhood vlog. So yeah, I think I really will like looking back on this and saying, I wish that I had started this when I was 8 weeks, but it's okay. Alright, well, bye guys. Please like the video if you enjoyed watching this, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.